Hi, I'm Ed Balls. I'm the Secretary of State for Children's Schools and Families, and I'm in my House of Commons office today doing the first Labour Vision clip of 2008, so Happy New Year, and responding to a number of the emails and postings which came in to us at the end of last year on our children's plan, which we published just before Christmas. We had over 100 different comments on the Labour Party website on the children's plan, and what I want to do today is go through a few of them and try and answer some of your questions. I'll do some of the detailed ones in a minute, but just to give you a bit of background, because quite a few of the comments, while positive, said, are we really sure it's going to work? Is it really going to deliver? Could it just be another gimmick? And the answer is, this is going to really work. It's a huge change, and I'm determined to show that it will deliver and add up. And it's important to think what we're doing with the children's plan. In some areas, we're saying we're going to do some more work, do some reviews, like looking at the detail of the primary curriculum, how we can make sure through the Byron review that we are supporting parents to help their kids be safe on the internet. In other areas, we've announced we're going to move ahead to have more teachers getting master's degree qualifications, or to make sure that we tackle the issue of exclusions policy in school. In other areas, we're spending straight away on youth services, on children's play, where we've got over £200 million to invest in those areas. It's definitely not a gimmick. What it is a reflection of our new department, Children's Schools and Families. We're bringing all the different policy together in one place for children and saying we'll invest, but we'll also make sure that schools, local health services, social services, parents, the justice system, the police, all put the needs of children first. And so far the responses to the children's plan have been really positive. I think it's going to make a massive difference to the lives of children in our country over the next few years. So the first comment I'll respond to is from Christopher, who posted a comment on youth provision, talking about what they've been doing in their local community in terms of investing in a rundown recreation ground to fund a skate park. And that sounds, Christopher, like a really brilliant idea. But what he's asking is, will the money just go into the coffers of local councils, or will local people really get a say in how the money's spent? And the answer is that we're going to make sure with the youth money, with the extra money which we're putting in, that it's there for local communities to come together with a plan. It's got to involve young people in the way the money's to be spent and the design of the campaign. We're going to actually use a big lottery fund as a way of allocating the money. And you'll need to have support either from the local council or from the private sector or from a business, from some other partner to show that you are involved in the community, and maybe that's a way of getting some more money involved as well. What I want to do is make sure that this isn't money which just gets spent on buildings, but is genuinely what people want, what young people want, that they'll be involved in the design and in the running of these youth facilities. And I think we can aim to do something in every part of the country over the next few years with that money. Tracy posted a comment on children's play. She asked that clean, dry and safe play areas are also looked at for older children, because she says most provision is for under 7s, and she wants something with a bit of adventure, please. What we're going to do is 3,500 new or refurbished playgrounds in the next 3 years, and you're right, that will tend to be for younger children, but also we're going to invest in 30 new adventure playgrounds in communities around the country. And those are adventure playgrounds for 8 to 13-year-olds, and importantly they'll actually have adults there as part of the facility to make sure kids are safe and can enjoy themselves. And so the adventure will really be there, and I think that's going to be really important in terms of learning, but also making sure that kids have got decent places to go and aren't just hanging around in the streets. So hopefully, Tracy, we're going to deliver on what you want there. Bill is a primary school governor. He was asking about testing when ready. What I said in the children's plan is that at the moment everybody does the same test when they get to age 11 or 14. Key Stage 2, Key Stage 3 tests they're called. And everybody does the same test regardless of their ability. And what we're saying is we're going to look at some pilots, some trials we're doing now, that we're doing around the country, called Making Good Progress, to see whether or not children can do the test when they're ready at the level that they've got to. Which means that the brightest kids can go faster, but kids who need more time can take more time to get to the right level. It's a bit like if you think about doing a music exam. It would be stupid to say, if everybody's learning the piano, you've all aged 11 got to do grade 5 piano exam, regardless of whether you've just started or you're slow, or whether you are already top class. What we are going to do is say you'll do the level of test you're at, which makes sense for you, working with teachers and parents. I think that could really work, but I want to look at what we're doing in quite a few hundred schools around the country first before we make a final decision on that one to go ahead. But hopefully, Bill, that gives you some reassurance that we're not just going to be doing things the wrong way. Apart from the children's plan, a number of people have sent questions in to me about education leaving age to 18. In particular, with lots of people worrying that if we're going to raise the education leaving age to 18, this will mean that there'll be some kids who don't really want to stay on, being forced to stay on, and that might disrupt things for everybody else. I think it's really important to be clear about this. We are going to raise the education leaving age, not the school leaving age. It's a huge reform. I think it's a really important 21st century reform because as a country we've got too many young people leaving school at 16 without the proper qualifications and then not getting training at work. There's no point in forcing people to stay at school. Some people will stay on at school, college, obviously go on to university. But in particular what I'm wanting is that if you're in work age 16 or 17, you should be getting training on the job for a qualification. And lots of young people around the country want to get an apprenticeship and they can't get one at the moment. And I think that an apprenticeship offer for every 16 to 18 year old who wants one could really work. That will mean we'll need to have 100,000 more apprenticeships every year, which is quite a big challenge. That's why what we're saying is we're not going to just bring it in immediately. We're going to legislate now, but it's going to start in 2013 for 17-year-olds, 2015 for 18-year-olds. So today's 10-year-olds in year 6 at the moment will be the first young people who will be staying on in school or college or an apprenticeship or work with training when they get to 16 in 2013 and to 17. We've got a few years to prepare to get the apprenticeships in place, to help employers get the training sorted out, and I think it's really, really important policy because if we don't get this right, we're going to have too many young people who can't get good jobs, can't save for their pension, and as a society will be held back. I have to say that the really disappointing thing for me is that the Tories are opposing our bill. They're opposing education going up to 18 in our legislation. They say it's a stunt. And to be honest, I think what they think is that excellence in education should be for some young people, but for others, they're just going to have to put up with second best. I think that's not good enough. Excellence should be for all, and every young person should be getting the qualifications they need, and that's the ambition behind our legislation. Mike Everett asked about international league tables and what we're doing to make sure that we get us up the league tables in education and to invest in extra resources such as school buildings and more pupil-teacher ratios going up, more teachers for every pupil. The answer is that we've gone up in the last 10 years from being below average, where the Tories left us, to above average, but we're not yet world class. There's still more to do. Too many young people still aren't making the grade. We've invested a huge amount in new school buildings. Over 1,000 new schools are built or refurbished. We're also doing a great deal to get more teachers into the classroom. We've got loads more teaching assistants. Class sizes have come down. But it's also about what happens outside the classroom as well. And I think one of the things which we've got to do to get up the league tables in reading is get more young people reading after school at the weekends, get more young people inspired to enjoy reading, and get more parents encouraging young people to watch TV, play on the internet, but also do some reading in the evenings. And I think we need to have a bigger culture of reading if we're going to succeed. That's why the National Year of Reading this year, 2008, is a big opportunity for us to get more young people involved in reading. Finally, Andy Palmer says, my son is deaf and progressing well in year 1 in a mainstream school. Do you have any plans for any change or investment for mainstream disabled children in primary school? Well, the answer is, Andy, I'm really pleased that your son is doing well in a mainstream school. And for all parents who want their child with a disability to be in a mainstream school, I want that too, and we should definitely support that. But also for parents who want some or all of the school week for their child to be in a specialist school, we should be providing that support as well. And we want that to be about local choices. And we need to make sure that whether in special or mainstream schools, we've got trained teachers, the right facilities, and in the children's plan I put £90 million more in to make sure that for respite care breaks, so that parents can have a day off a week or whatever, to get a bit of a break, especially if they've got a child with complex disabilities, that we've not only got the money for the respite care breaks and the support, but also the facilities to make sure that kids can be safe and have the hoists or the equipment they need for those breaks. And I've made a real point in this new department and over the last couple of years trying to improve facilities in school, but also for parents, for families with children with a disability. And hopefully this money which we're putting in place will make a real difference. The Children's Plan is a really exciting opportunity for our country to support every child, to make sure that we back parents, to put schools at the centre of our thinking, to make sure that we prevent problems early and intervene early, to make sure that kids don't go on the wrong track, but instead get the support they need to do well. Our aim is every child being able to fulfil their talents, to do well, and no child held back because of poverty, disadvantage. That is what a Labour government is all about. The Tories may be for a two-tier Britain, where excellence is for some and it's second best for everybody else. This Labour government is about excellence for all, the higher standards for everybody, investing to give parents and children the support they need, and that's what we're doing in our new department. Thanks for listening.